Hello, fellow travelers, and welcome to the Versus Stars podcast, third season. How my loyal listeners, thank you for continued support. And remember, click that subscribe button, everybody. This is a very special episode because Mohan Kapur boards the mothership. You know him as Yusuf Khan in the Marvels. Now, come on board as we go traversing the stars. Hi, Mo. Thank you so much for coming to Versus Stars podcast.
Hey, thanks so much for having me. How have you been?
Good. This is a real honor for me because you're such a great actor, and I really loved the character we're going to talk about in a second. So this is a big deal. So thank you so much for coming on the show.
You flatter me. You're too kind for me. Thank you so much for this.
Appreciate it. So I always start with a question of inspiration. It's what inspired your love for acting and who your earliest influences.
Honestly, I come from a family of very highly educated scientists, doctors, engineers. There's no actor in our family for all around. And nor are they, cinephiles that they love going watching something. They're more into the arts. They go to museums. They go to the opera, the ballets, and music concerts and that. Okay, the young generation, yeah, they are into it. But classically, my generation when I was growing up, the grown-ups, none of them were into all this stuff. And if they'd watch classics. They'd watch all the good old stuff, which I grew up watching myself. But somewhere along the whole schooling days and things like that, I kind of oscillated towards the arts and things like that. I was not so academically inclined, so to speak, to put it mildly. So I was into sport. I was into, the elocution debates and all that stuff. And somehow, I don't know how, I kind of was very attracted to theater and things like that. So I used to do the class productions, school productions. Not only did I write, direct, and act in them, but, I was appreciated for it. My grades were miserable. So when my mother would go in for the parent-teacher day, she'd be going there with, sedatives to say, I need to calm down about my son's behavior as well as his grades. But there was not a mention. There was not a mention about my grades, my behavior, nothing. They just keep talking, oh, did you see him in that? Did you hear about his performance in that? Did you see him perform in that, in the boxing ring? And did you see him do that? My mother's like, hang on, all that's fine. What about his grades? Because we came from a family of, academics, and it meant everything for them. They didn't give a damn whether I was an actor or not. So a job meant everything. And lo and behold, as one would have it, one kind of graduated, did everything. And I got myself a job. I was in advertising. And suddenly from advertising, I don't know, it was a chance encounter. One of my clients wanted to cast me as the model for the product. And that ad became a huge success. And from there, it was very strange. My trajectory from modeling, I went into theater. From theater, I went into a game show, which is what actually really catapulted me into the limelight in India and in the Southeast Asian region with the first satellite television beaming. And from there, it was feature films and then radio. I was a radio jockey, morning drive time, evening drive time. So things just kept happening. Honestly, when people ask me, can we have your headshots? Can we have a portfolio or something? I don't have one even to date. I have never taken one. And people say, how come? I said, I don't mean to sound pompous, but I've never needed to. Things just kept happening for me. So there were no real influences. There was nothing. It was just things that kept happening until now. And so when people ask me, when did you know you could act? I said, I don't know. I still don't know whether I could act. Yeah, it's all been a big chance thing.
So your parents and your family, like I said, being academics, what did they think about you entering the world of entertainment? And at what point did you have the "I told you so" moment when you actually proved you're successful at it?
Oh, the "I told you so"? I haven't yet. I don't have the guts. But they know. They're very kind. Obviously now it's been 30 years I've been facing a camera, I've been on stage, or I've been behind a microphone or whatever. So now, obviously, they've come to terms with the fact that it's my career. But I remember when I'd first done that game show, I was in New York, and I was at this very hoity-toity party, with my uncle over there. And he was introducing me to his art circle of friends. And he introduces me saying, oh, meet my nephew. He's an actor. And he started laughing. I looked at him and said, what the hell? That's my bread and butter. Do you mind? Can we be decent over here? But I knew he was saying it with love and, all in good jest and a couple of nice single malts down. So that was all right. But I don't think there was any reservation. They just said that, listen, you better make sure that what you're doing, is this what you want? And is this you sure you can make it? They never questioned. They just said that get your study, because they always wanted me to have a backup plan. And that's what when youngsters ask me, can you advise us on how do we go about the acting thing? My first thing to them is I say, what's your backup plan? Finish your education, get something there. Because it's all very, glamorous and it looks great from the outside. But I mean, it is a tough world out here, facing the arc lights. I mean, that's if you get to the arc lights. To just get to the arc lights is a mammoth task. I mean, touch wood. I mean, somebody up there loves me, and I've just got all these lucky breaks. But believe you me, I'm just so humbled by all these the opportunities I've gotten. That's why I'm so careful about the advice that I give youngsters, because it's so easy to talk about it, and people say, "Oh, but if he could make it, why not me?" But hell, for every one Mohan Kapur who made it, for every other big person who made it, who's much bigger than me, there are a gazillion who haven't.
Right.
You must be aware of that. So yeah, so there was no opposition, but there was no encouragement either. They just what you think is right, and as long as you know what you're doing is right.
So one of the characters that you've suddenly become very famous for is Yusuf Khan in a wonderful TV show called Ms. Marvel. That was, I must admit, I really did love what they did with it. So how did you get involved with the show?
So I have my manager in LA, Andrea Chung of Bowery Hills Productions, and she was shooting in India, and I was cast in her production, and something that she was handling, and she really appreciated my work, and she and the director, they said that, why don't you come to the US and Hollywood? I said, what? I said, I just about manage it in India. You're telling me to come to, to the epicenter of entertainment, which is Hollywood. At least it's the perceived epicenter of all entertainment in the world. I said, I won't even be a fly on the wall there. I don't even want to discuss it. I mean, thanks for asking and talking about it. But then they pursued it because they said that, no. So I said, hang on, why are they doing it so much? So first I thought it was a scam. So I said, this is a scam. What's the deal? So I said, so what do I need to do? So they said, nothing. She's saying that, she think, like she said, that I'm over here and I can, we sign an MOU and I'll manage your work. And things like that. I said, okay, that's all I need to do. Let's do it. And we signed up, and, she was completely at a wit's end, because, like I said, everything just happened to me per chance. I mean, I've never had to have a portfolio. I didn't even know what is IMDb till I got Miss Marvel. Can you believe that? I've been 30 years in the business. So we have a lot of laughs over my ignorance about a lot of things. And so she said that, okay, can we put your articles there? I said, what articles? She think all your interviews and things. I said, I don't have any. She think, how come? I said, I don't keep anything. She said, don't you have any stories? I said, no. She think, why? I said, I never needed it and I don't know how to put it together. So yeah, so all that was we laughed about it initially, but when we got Miss Marvel, then she think, Mohan, you're a bit stupid, I mean, you've got to put these things together. So she think, anyway, I'm here now. I'm going to do it all. So she was so sweet, so kind, so patient, and so fabulous. She put this whole show reel together. She, spruced up my IMDb, which I had to download for the first time. And I said, oh, hell. And then when I saw my stuff on IMDb, I said, geez, man, I have really done a lot of work. And believe you me, the minute my work gets over, it's off. I'm out of that frame. I enjoy the memories, the moments. But if you ask me, remember your character, and yeah, I mean, I do, of course. If you ask me to remember it, of course I do. But I mean, it's not like I'm tied into it, because I'm ready to move on. That's what I always say, I want to be fluid, like as Mr. Bruce Lee used to say, be like water, take the shape of what you put into. I can't keep hanging on to that, oh, I'm that and this. That's over, done with, done and dusted. You're only as good as your last release. Come on, what's next? So we got this script in the middle of COVID. She sent me the script for the audition. Lockdown had just lifted the first phase in India. I called a lady friend of mine over because I needed cues from a female voice. So I called her over. We did it. This is the part I'm really kicked about, which my co-stars were also really kicked about. In fact, Brie was, she laughed about it when we were shooting the Marvels in London. And she said, so we shot, I did my first take of the audition. I rehearsed it with my friend. And then I did a take. And she goes, cut. She thinks, hey, I really liked it. I said, yeah, I loved it too. Because my thing was, look, I'm never going to get it. Even when she sent me the script, I said, come on, Andrea, I'm never going to get it. Why am I wasting my time? And this is COVID. All the people in the world, why me? Why does she have to walk into my, the Casablanca line kind of rang out for me. And I said, no, of all the gin joints in the world, can't be mine. So I said, no, I've done it. This is the take. So she thinks, let's do one more just for safety. Try a variation. I said, no, as a performance, I've hit the right notes as far as I am concerned. I think I've done it. I don't want to do anymore. Now call it, complex that I don't think I'm ever going to get it. So let me not invest any more time and effort into it. Or I genuinely, and that's, as an actor, that's what I do. I mean, if I hit it right, I really am not bothered, because then I leave it to the director, or if there's a technical glitch. Otherwise, I'm usually fine with my first take, because I just internalize that character, that scene, those words so much that I can say it backwards. It cannot come out as a dialogue. So for me, I'm done. If I've done it, if they're okay with it, I'm fine. It's very rare that I feel that I haven't hit the right note, And so I thought my self-tape, I hit it, I sent it, and I got it. So everybody, all my co-stars, when they got it, they say, what? You did just one take? You didn't even do a retake for yourself? I said, no. And they say, and you got Marvel? I said, yeah. They think, that's insane. I said, now that you telling me about it, yeah, I think so too. So that's how literally one got it. And that's what made me feel even more humble, because I kept thinking, of all the people in the world, how did I get it? On the red carpet of Miss Marvel, people ask me, so are you living your dream? I said, I don't have the audacity to dream of this. Sitting in India doing, as the terrible word, as they call it, Bollywood, just because there's a Hollywood. But the Indian film industry, I'm getting by over here, And suddenly to land in the world's biggest production in their brand new franchise, which is about this, the Indian or the South Asian side of town living in Jersey. I couldn't get over it. And you won't believe it, I kept asking even the youngsters that, was that all right? Did I do all right? And they were like, why are you asking us? You are the most experienced actor on set. We're all newbies. Why are you asking? I said, because the paradigm of performance in India, the syntax, versus a worldwide audience for a Marvel kind of a thing, could be different, which I don't know about. So I'm not nervous. I'm never nervous. But, I just want to be sure. I mean, then I thought to myself, I said, hey, my director has not said anything. My manager hasn't called me up at night saying that, look, I got complaints about your performance. They might recast. So I said, oh, that's going well. So I said, I'm all right. So yeah, that's literally how it happened. And like I said on the red carpet, I don't have the audacity to dream of this. What I'm going through now is the dream. So please don't wake me up.
Well, as you mentioned, when you were on the TV show Ms. Marvel, it was the introducing Kamala Khan's character of Ms. Marvel, the big new entity that Marvel was trying to push. And you're one of the major players in Ms. Marvel and one of the best received new characters on Ms. Marvel, because everyone loves the father, Yusuf. So how did that feel to be suddenly thrown into this massive Marvel universe and the fandom, which is immense and dedicated and sometimes rabid? How did that all feel?
So the Marvel universe of its audience, its viewers, the fans, or should I say the extended family, that's Marvel's extended family. Sometimes I feel fans is putting it too mildly for them. They're like family for Marvel. And Marvel loves them because of what they are, and we are because of what the kind of love that they give us. And I really didn't know, because like I said, even when I get a script, I read it as a viewer. First thing, does it get me? And am I like, depending on what this thing is, am I laughing my head off, or am I biting my nails, or am I, laughing, or am I crying? Am I going through the graph of the narrative? If I am, then that connects with me. And then I kind of go into my second read, where I start thinking about my own character, and then I read it as my character, how I see it. I start visualizing a set, as any book or any written matter would make you paint your own pictures. I do that, and then I connect with it. So when I was introduced to this, I mean, I've been in the business for 30 years. I've seen adulation and things like that in its own way, but nothing prepared me for what Marvel was about to put me into. And it was huge. And I was saying, imagine just playing Yusuf Khan, the kind of love and admiration and recognition I got. I can't even begin to imagine what Iman Vellani as Kamala Khan, Miss Marvel must have got, and all the others, Zenobia and Sagar playing Ahmed. I mean, it's fantastical. It's unreal. And it's so endearing. It's just so endearing. It's precious at another level because here's a worldwide audience. It's not, geographically my Indian audience alone who relates to my character, my linguistics, my language, my performance syntax. It's not that. Now it's a global audience, who are seeing it in their languages, which are dubbed but I guess, emotions cut across geographical lines. So that's all right. It's fine. And that works. And who does it better than Marvel? So when they introduced this character and I was so privileged to play it, I've played a lot of dads. So it wasn't that something that, how am I going to play it? And plus, these kind of emotions are very basic, They come. I guess it just worked. It just happened. Magic happened.
Well,
it's always the writing. The writing gives you all the fodder and all the ammunition you need. It's just so well written.
Well, the other important thing about your characters and Kamala Khan's character is that it's focused on a population in this country that's has not had a chance to be in superhero world, the Muslim population, and it's a culture that is not often viewed from a national audience in this country. I'm sure. I mean, obviously in other places, but not often in this country. So, how much pressure was it to deliver and portray and make a portrayal of this great father in that family? And did you feel the kind of pressure of representation?
So truth be told, I didn't think of it like that. I thought of it as my character. What actually was really worrying me was, which I asked the Sana, the creator of the show, and I asked the directors, and I said, after our first reading, the first thing I said that, look, these characters have been there for 30 odd years, as the first generation. Kamala is the second generation, but she is the American Muslim living there. I said, what do you want to do about my accent? Because, Zenobia playing my wife, she's lived in New York for 30 odd years. So she has the accent. I said, mine isn't there. They said, please do not. They understood where I'm coming from. They immediately stopped me and said, please do not even spare a thought. Whatever you can, if you can manage, roll your R's, do what comes closest to you for being Americanized as you may have it. But don't let it compromise on your performance, your emotions, your etc. etc. Now, once I had that clean chit, then I was just immersed in the character. I really actually, none of these things, as a viewer, again, I believe if you do your character properly, you don't start thinking, oh, I need to make sure that I'm playing a Muslim right, or I need to make sure that I'm doing right by my audience. You're a character. You are creating the audience. So you're going out to that audience, let the audience decide. So you be honest to the character, to the writing. That is, for me, is my Bible. That's my Quran. That's my Bhagavad Gita. And that's my Holy Bible. For me, it's the writer who's everything for me. Once that is done for me, then it's up to the audience whether I did it right or not. Yes, the emotions and all that, that's where I tap into my probably childhood, my life, or other people. Because for me, my biggest learning as an actor has been life, people watching and experiences, which I kind of internalize, I kind of play around with it, and then I bring it out when required. So there was really no pressure, but I think the writing did justice because Sana being, a second generation Muslim in New Jersey herself, so it worked perfectly. She just knew all the nuances, all the small things that happen, even the ceremonies and things like that. And she just brought it so beautifully on paper. And then all our directors, they just kind of translated it so beautifully with the technical team, the art direction, the camera, everybody. They just did such a fantastic job. The music, the representation of the music from this region and all was so fantastic. So it's like an orchestra, everybody does their bit, and one thing off, and the whole piece, the whole concerto just comes crashing down. So everyone just did it, and it just came together so magically.
And I think the other great thing about Yusuf in the Marvel Universe is that when you think about the Marvel Universe, there aren't really many parents portrayed. You have Howard Stark, for who's not a good parent whatsoever. You have Aunt May, but for the most part, beyond that, you don't really have a great example of good parenting. And Yusuf is such a great father. When you think about Yusuf, how is his being this great father important to Kamala's development into the hero that she becomes?
I think at a subliminal level, uh, whether it's Kamala and Yusuf, or I think this whole the Southeast Asian diaspora, from where we come, family values and the passing on of culture and values is a very integral and key aspect of our being. And whether you're in Pakistan, whether you're in India, whether you're in Philippines, whether you're in Sri Lanka, or you're in the US, as an expatriate, somewhere everybody holds on to a little bit of themselves from where they come, even if they have imbibed and they've assimilated themselves in the whether it's a Big Apple or wherever, they always will hold on to something, because there is that thing of that's my soil, that's my thing. And I think it's a bit more probably in Southeast Asia, but you could easily say that about the Americans. I mean, the pride with which an American kind of looks at his flag, even if it's on the telly. I mean, that's heartwarming. It's heartwarming. You don't need to be an American to respect and love that emotion and be a part of it, and be with them. Similarly, there's so many people around the world who kind of relate to this. The success of the series has been the fact that so many people suddenly related to this culture, the value system, the way of their being, the family unit, because suddenly they say, hey man, we never realized that these people have this behind the hijab or the Indian outfit or the Indian sweet meat or the stuff that they eat. We didn't know all this behind that. So that's where it comes from. There's a science, there's a logic, there's a love, there's all that put into it. I mean, imagine Thanksgiving 365 days of the year. That's our culture, that's our value system. So I think that this thing is what has been imparted to Kamala and Amira, two children, via this one, the parents. And having said that, so somewhere, even though she is the first gen of her being an American, and she's completely American, but she somewhere knows where her roots lie and where the value system. So even subliminally, it may come out. It'll come subliminally, and that has come out. It's been shown so beautifully. And, Iman has done such an amazing job. Because here again, like I've always said, Iman was born to play Kamala Khan. I mean, literally, I tell you, Iman Vellani is Kamala Khan. Her childhood has been what we've portrayed in the series. She had books like that. She had all these notes. Her room was done up like that. I mean, though she may have had Iron Man and all of them, but, she was that. So for her to get into it, the segue was so simple. It was just so simple. She just had to follow another person's spoken word, the written word. Otherwise, there she was, the expression, the feeling. And she's Pakistani. And she's from, she's from Canada. But I mean, the synergies of that whole culture, the assimilation of the East and the West is all there. She's tailor-made for it, She's been genetically made for. She was born to do Miss Marvel. They were just waiting for the right time, and boom, there you go. So yeah, I think it was. It's a thing. It's a function of the whole family values, the culture that kind of helps her become who she is and come into her own.
And as you mentioned, Iman Vellani, she does a wonderful job as Kamala Khan. And I think she's one of the more beloved new characters coming to Marvel, and since especially since Endgame has ended, she's like the next phase. She's like has become kind of like the new favorite face for Marvel. What would she like to work with, and also why do you think audiences embraced her so completely as this character?
Believe me when I say this, the first table read for Miss Marvel. Okay. Where there we are, it was COVID time, so we're all sitting, we all went through the quarantine and this and that, and our favorite perfume was the sanitizer we used, and favorite wardrobe was our masks, and suddenly you meet somebody without a mask and you suddenly say, sorry, you are? They say, man, we just work together. Oh, sorry, damn, you look different with a mask. And, it was crazy. So, but here we were at this table read, and I was sitting at this was diagonally opposite to me at the other end was Kamala. She was sitting close to Sana Amanat. And we did the reading of episode 1. And episode 1, I didn't, Yusuf Khan didn't have too much dialogue, but I had read the script about a gazillion times, so I already knew what's coming next. So I was looking at the people performing, so that would be my first, getting whetted as how each character's or each person is seeing their character, playing their character. The first impression, So I like to see, and I see, oh, okay, so that's where they're coming from. Oh, so that's how they probably interpreted it. So that's my, mind reading their mind. And there I was looking at Iman. And this was my expression at the end of episode 1, because I was just transfixed on watching her perform. And then they said, and scene. And I was, that was my expression. And everyone looked at me and said, what? I said, she was born to play Kamala. Clapping and jumping. And I said that I've been in this business for 30 years. Believe me, I cannot believe that this is the first time you're going to be performing. But then that's where I'm saying that she was born to be this person, because that's been her. Iman Vellani has always been like this. She has been exactly. So what she brought to the table was just an extension of herself. That's it. So I really don't believe that she put in too much of an effort. She just played herself. And everybody, oh, she had a great performance. Her performance was who she is, from inside, her heart, her soul. So she was just perfect. And I was every scene she does, every take, actually, to be precise, every take she does, she brings something to it. And I'm like, how can a girl this young bring so much? And which is why it prompted me. And not only her, she, of course, was the epitome of, the performance, because she had a part like that. She had, her own DNA, which was Kamala Khan's DNA. But all the other youngsters, everybody else, I just keep looking and saying, man, what's it with them? And this was precisely my fear when Andrea, my manager, wanted me to come to Hollywood. I said, everybody is just so good over there. I said, I'll never make it. And I was right. I was looking at all these kids and I'm like, how do they do it? How are they just so natural? Because their school of, or what they've seen, this generation, their acting is very natural. It's not like what I've grown up watching. I mean, what y'all had probably Clark Gable, Marlon Brando, the different schools of Al Pacino and all those. So we had a different school of, performing artists and who we looked up to. A lot of them were very realistic, like the actors we have today, but there were a lot which were just so over the top and, caricatured. And we grew up watching that stuff thinking, oh, that was the right way to do it. And today you look back and you say, how did I grow up on that? I should be brain dead by now, But yeah, so it just every day was a revelation to me working with her. And I have just nothing but utmost respect for that young lady. She's just so good. And seeing her now with the Marvels and, just seeing her interviews, just seeing all the stuff she does, I'm like, God, she's destined for greatness. And I'm so glad she's just doing it so well. May the force be with her.
Well, yeah, I mean, she's even writing the Ms. Marvel comic book now.
Yeah.
Like, right. She's a writer too. That's not even fair for the rest of us.
But exactly, that's what I'm saying. She's been doing this all her life. So it's nothing new. She and Kevin Feige used to have these deep discussions about the Marvel universe. And, I mean, I'm a viewer, but I'm not a fan freak like Kamala Khan, And I'd sit off camera and we're looking at them talking, and I'm like, what are they? Amir and all the guys who were playing the other kids, they still knew because they are into the Marvel universe and they'd have discussions about, which is a better one, Endgame or Avengers. And I'm like, what are you doing? Oh, I enjoyed my popcorn and my soda, man. What are you doing? You guys are so important. This is like, you're the biblical stuff you're like getting into. I mean, I cannot handle this, man. So yeah, I would just sit there very quietly, stoically, pretend to be very intelligent and mature. To be told that I didn't know a damn thing what was going on over there. Yeah.
And the other cool thing is, like, once again, your character and Ms. Marvel's character started off on Disney Plus, which as a huge TV show, but now you transition to the Marvels, which is the tentpole Marvel movie, one of the big ones of the year. Now, when you did Ms. Marvel, the TV show, did you already know that the movie was coming and you're going to be in it?
Yeah, at some point, a few months down the line, couple of months down the line, I think, was it in our Christmas break or was it after? I'm not sure. But one day they said we need to have a talk with the principal actors and all. I said, oh shit, we're going to be recast. The typical complex Indian. I said, we're going to be recast. At least I'm going to be recast. Oh man. Oh well, at least I met them. At least I've seen how it all goes down. We've done a few weeks of this and that. So I said, okay, this is it, end of the journey. And then we come, and then there's this Zoom call because it's still thick of COVID. And then they go, okay, so we want to tell you that, we're going to be doing this and you're going to be in it. I didn't know. I was like, is this real? I mean, this is really happening. And I was just so happy. I was just so excited. But I just said that, okay, again, because I think there's a word for this. I'm forgetting the name for it. It's some syndrome where you feel
imposter syndrome.
There you go. That's the one. And I was suffering with it. I said, no, this is still that same syndrome. It's just going on, man. It's kind of living with me, sleeping in my bed, using my aftershave. This is imposter syndrome. There's nothing. But yeah, man, that happened. And I was just so excited. And especially since we knew that, we're going to be doing Captain Marvel 2, we didn't know it was called The Marvels then. So we said, oh, wow. And then it dawned on me, I said, God, I'm going to meet Captain Marvel. God, I'm going to get to, because nowadays I'm a cat dad. So I said, I'm going to meet the cats. I'm going to meet Fury. And then it kind of started dawning on me. So I'm a little slow on the uptake when it comes to the Marvel universe. It all kind of descends on me slowly. And also, like I said, because I've been in the business, I've been behind the camera, I've been, writing, I've been an executive producer, I've been a director, I've been all that. So I have a very practical and realistic approach to everything. I don't take my fame or my recognition or my work too seriously in terms of, the adulation one gets. And though I do take the downside pretty hard because I say, oh man, wish it had done better. But anything on the high side, I say, okay, I did my job. And literally for me, it is I did my job and I'm grateful for that. I didn't let people down. I didn't let my producers, the people who, invested in me and believed in me. And then I move on. So literally, so once they got that, within about 3 days, I was normal again. I was like, oh, okay, yeah. Others would talk and then it would suddenly strike me. Oh, yeah, we'll be meeting again to do that. Oh, yeah, we'll be meeting again. So, yeah, that was. So it's actually, you have to imagine that it's coming to somebody in India, thousands of miles away, who watches all this. Who would ever think you're going to be in Hollywood? I mean, people in America don't dream that they'd ever be in Hollywood, right? I mean, like people who turn around to me, if I have this kind of discussion, they think, dude, people would give their left, right arm and some more body parts just to be standing in a frame in a Marvel production. You've got a starring role with dialogues and you're a main character. Why is it so hard to believe? I think no, it's not hard to believe. I'm doing it. So yeah, I believe that. But I'm saying, why me? How me? Those existential questions, they're hitting hard. They're really hitting hard. Who am I? Why am I? Why am I here? Yeah, it was fun. Yeah.
Now, for someone who's not, obviously I'm not in the industry at all, what was it like to go from filming a TV show to filming the Marvels at that scale?
So in any case, for me, Miss Marvel itself, coming from India, was a huge scale up in terms of production values and the way things are done. Look, here's the thing. The craft is the craft, but it's the finesse of a craft. For me as an actor, that's what I mean. So if someone says, oh, how was Hollywood? I think it is what it's made out to be. It is larger than life. It is grand. It's glamorous. And it's everything. But I think the thing that I have taken out of there is the way they do things, the finesse with which they do things, the discipline they follow in all their departments, and just the passion with which people work. those are the things that really impress me, because it's not that people don't have passion here, but for whatever reasons, said and unsaid, there's a certain thing that, we tend to kind of shortchange ourselves. We tend to shortchange ourselves. Who cares? No, everything counts, man, somewhere. So imagine from there itself, from India to Miss Marvel was a huge arc. Now, from Miss Marvel to go to The Marvels, which is feature film, big screen, the biggest star cast, the big stars. As it is on a Miss Marvel set, I was like a kid in a candy shop. Like, oh. The Marvels? I don't think anybody knows it, but here's Mohan Kapur admitting to the biggest buffet he's ever made in his life. So here we were in the spaceship scene and we were rehearsing, and I was just so enamored with it was blue screen, but then there was the spaceship and, was sitting inside it. And I was like, I've grown up watching 2001 Space Odyssey, the Star Wars stuff and all that stuff. Today I'm in one of those scenes, dude. So I kind of sat in the chair and I'm saying, oh man, and the guy's coming, okay, this is how the seatbelt's going. I'm thinking, okay. I'm gobsmacked there. The only thing that came out was I asked the art person, where did you buy this chair? I would like to get one. We didn't gonna go to an IKEA, we could have made it. We did like, that's really, I said, oh shucks, what have I just said, And that was so funny. So yeah, so I mean, the one thing that the sentence that keeps resonating in my mind is like, I used to keep telling myself that, so this is how they do it. So yeah, it was another world out there. But like I said, the craft is the craft. But it's just that the writing, it's been so thought of that, and the other level, they are so open to inputs from actors. They're just so open. So, and they were very kind, especially to me, because I tried to bring in a little garnishing, a flavoring of Yusuf Khan and this region. So I would throw in some Urdu words, or some dialects or some expressions. They're like, Ya Allah. So first they would try to, they'd say, okay, so they get the writer, the director, they say, okay, tell us what it needs. So I think, so this is the setting, this is the thing, and I'm adding this, which is trying to express this. And they say, perfect, go for it. Then they'd say, why don't you say this entire bit in this, in your Urdu? I said, no, that would alienate a lot of audience. And, there are certain things which you don't want to lose out on the information. Let's not say give the information in a foreign language, foreign for the entire world, because then you need to go into subtitling. And they'd understand that and they'd appreciate that. So it was such an open, freewheeling this thing. But yet it was all done within the framework and the parameters of the formality of the script. So that is God, and we work within that. Yes, anything you want to add, work around, give us something. So what I brought to the table was a little bit of garnishing, for the language, which kind of gave some to Muniba, used some myself. Amir brought a lot of the Quran stuff, if and when he ever used it. Miss Marvel, at least he did. So he brought that to the table. So there was a lot of, symbiotic stuff happening out there, which I guess added to the whole magic.
And I think that was a cool thing that you got to do as well, is that you got some action sequences in there. You got to, with the scene in the house, how fun was that? How long did it take you to prepare for that scene? And once again, you also got to act with some, Brie Larson was in. You get to play with Brie Larson as well in those scenes. What was that all like?
So here's the thing: we went into all the stunt rehearsals and all that. We were all excited. Now, in my 30 years in India, I have done stunts. I've dislocated my kneecaps, and I've done my own stuff because I said that, hey, I want to do it, and I want to be that actor that does it. Obviously, death-defying thing, which okay, I can get it. You don't do it. So here I was in Hollywood. I was in a Marvel production. I was with Brie Larson and Fury and everybody, And we rehearsed for these stunts and all. But on the day, they suddenly say, no, we've got stunt doubles for you. So Amir, guy playing my son, and we say, no, why would you do that? So they say, no, because we can't afford to let you get hurt and do that. So I understood where they came from. We did. But the point is, we said, okay, let's go see what is it that they're doing. And there was just a normal thing of the guy going and falling on the, on the couch. And we say, hey, listen, we trip, we fall, we do stupid things in real life. We can do that. So then they were very sweet. They were worried as hell. The fight director was worried as hell, but he was very kind and he let us do a lot of our stuff. Maybe not a lot. For me, I've done a lot more. So they let us do what stuff that they thought was safe for us as actors. They didn't want us getting injured and ruining the rest of the shoot, which had a lot more, dialogue portions and not just fighting for us. So that was great fun. That was great fun. And I was shocked to see Brie, because just before we got into the fight sequences, shooting of the fight sequences, Amir showed me her Insta stuff of her training. And I was like, wow, wow. What you see on film, of course, it's choreographed and certain sequences, certain movements, certain motions have wire work to it, and, special effects, graphic, all that, yes. But trust me, whoever's watching this, all these guys who do their fights, Brie and, Tom Cruise, the world knows about. But she is that fit. She does that stuff, man. She is lethal. She's amazing. I've got just huge respect for her and everybody who does their own stuff. Sure.
And the cool thing with the Marvels as well is that the stakes for Kamala Khan, the character, are raised a lot in the Marvels, right? She goes from, who she's fighting. Basically, yeah, you're looking at like galactic production level characters, right? Now, when you're thinking about Yusuf, the idea usually when you think stereotypically a father's job is to protect his children, especially his daughter. He can't protect Kamala from these villains who are galaxy. He's way out of his league. They're destroying a galaxy. Even if he wants to as a father, he's not going to get. That's not going to happen, right? How comfortable is he letting his daughter be the superhero then that he can't protect from the dangers that she's going to be facing?
So at some level, you've just said it so perfectly that any father, I don't think it's Yusuf or anyone, it could be Andrew, it could be, anybody. Any father would worry about their child, be it a son or daughter, maybe more of a daughter. But we have to understand the graph that he's been through, seeing her evolve, metamorphosize from Kamala, his little baby, to Miss Marvel, Jersey City savior. And from there, this weird, quirky thing has happened. And now she's not with us. She's like, where's my daughter? Where's my daughter? And she's out there in the galaxy. She's fighting something. So he's obviously, first reaction of any parent, even a neighbor, if a neighbor comes to know that, where's your daughter? She's not here. She's in the galaxy fighting. What's wrong with you? Anybody would freak out. And a parent, all the more compounded. But so he does freak out. But in fact, there is that one scene where he says that, look, beta, I understand that, you need to do this, but I worry for you. There's no other explanation besides the emotion of a dad, reaching out. But somewhere he has always also told us that, whatever you dream, you can achieve. So go out there and do that. So, and she tells him. And when she tells him that, he kind of understands. So while he's, like they say, it's very easy to preach. But when it comes to you, you have to think about it, think that, ouch. Do I flip the switch? Should I give that permission? Should I let it just play out? But he has to keep quiet. So and he just has to go. And then he said that I can't hold her back now, because then otherwise everything I have stood for her and what she has come into of her own will all just suddenly, if nothing else, it'll just belittle it. It'll belittle it. So he can't. And so he's torn in that, he's in that state where, yikes, what do I do? And, well, she comes through. And he's petrified. So I guess the only solace he takes is in the fact that at least he's with Fury, he's somewhere, hopefully close to his daughter out there in space. Even however scary the whole situation for him is. So, yeah. And that's the best he can do, just be there for him.
And the cool thing, too, that you get to do at both the character and really you, is that you get to play with Samuel L. Jackson, who is one of those great legends of movies, film. What was he like to work with?
You just said it. He's legend. He's legend. He is just, so when the first time he walked onto set, I was like, he's here. He's in the flesh. So, you start suddenly, there is this montage of all his work that has been so beautifully edited in your own mind. Samuel Jackson's team couldn't have edited a show reel for him that I had already playing out in my mind as he was taking those strides onto the set. And he comes in there, swag at another level. And he is just who he is, what we've seen on screen. He goes, "Hey man, what's up, brother?" And he goes, the way he holds the ball, it's not perfunctory. He means it when he reaches out and he holds your hand. He's got huge hands, by the way. And when he shakes the hand and he pulls you close and he embraces you, you feel it. I mean, you can make out what's genuine, what's not. It's something that is, "Hey, what's up, man?" And move on. No, he'll hold, continue hold, then give that one last tighter one, and then you kind of move on to the next. And over a period, I mean, I won't say that we kind of got buddy, okay? But he was very kind. I mean, he helped me understand a lot of how the industry over there works. Where am I lost? And, what are my confusions and things like that. So he would tell me, "Why don't you try doing this? Talk to your manager and do this." And, you reach out to that. Of course, times are different right now. It's COVID. Everything is shut. So that was really endearing. And then, of course, just, hearing him with his funny one-liners between shots. And, there's something about the man. You never know when he's serious and when he's joking, And he does that in the middle of a scene, and he suddenly just changed the way he delivered the dialogue 3 takes ago. And suddenly you're like, what? And then you realize that he's messing around, because he's already seen something go amiss. So he's decided to mess around till the director calls it cut. And the director doesn't call it cut because she wanted to see how far it goes, how long it plays out. It was just so much fun, it was just so much fun. Yeah. I thought it would be, work, and which it was. But I didn't think it would be so, for a lack of a better word, so casual. It was just so much fun that it brought out the best in everyone. He just puts everyone at ease. Brie puts everyone at ease. So you don't feel like you're working with the legend and this. They're legend, but they let you believe that, look, I'm this character. You be your character, and whatever your character allows you to be with me, say to me, do it. We don't have ego over here as, I am this almighty Samuel Jackson and I will not tolerate that. Not at all. Not at all. Fabulous.
Did he give you any advice? Because, I mean, once you're in the Marvels, you're now not only in the Marvel Universe, but you're in the larger Marvel Universe. Did Samuel Jackson be like, as someone who has been almost there from the beginning, be like, "Hey, just let you know, this is what's coming for you, man. Now that you're in this movie, you're now the face, one of the great faces of the Marvel Universe."
The line that I cherish of his was, he's saying that, in fact, that's exactly what he said. He's saying, "Hey man, you're a Marvel man now." So he's saying, enjoy the ride, and things are going to change for you. And but I don't need to advise you on your craft because you're pretty good. You know what you're doing. And then he kind of come into his own and he said, "Well, at least as Yusuf Khan." He can't guarantee the rest, but he's saying, you know what you're doing as far as Yusuf Khan goes. So yeah.
So
that was a huge thing for me.
Have you started doing the convention circuit as part of the Marvel? Have you started doing that yet?
No, not yet.
You going to?
I don't know. I've been busy since I got back to India in June this year. I've been back. I was in New York for something else, and I got back, and I've suddenly gotten busy over here, and I see myself a bit busy. But also, I came back because I was actually planning to, park myself in the US stateside and start hunting for work and things like that. But then the strikes happened, and I said, there's not much I can contribute to by being there. Of course, the picket lines and things like that. But I said that, no, I also have, commitments back home. So I need to finish those. So I came back here, and then, it's just been one cycle after the other. One project ends, the other starts. So, yeah. I'm looking forward, now that the strikes have ended, I'm looking forward to some sort of a calling, or if nothing else, then at least, between my manager and me, we started kind of figure out a strategy. I moved there, we start meeting people or making cold calls, if nothing else, because, I mean, I don't take anything for granted, like I always say.
Now,
I think that kept me grounded.
now I know you can't answer these questions, but I'm going to ask you anyway because I have you here. Um, Obviously, as Yusuf Khan, you just came from the Marvels. We know Ms. Marvel had her TV show. Do you know for certain that Yusuf is going to be seen again in the Marvel universe? Like, is that already been discussions? Do we know is happening?
No, I wouldn't. And I'm being honest, I don't know. Because we really don't know till we know,
Hmm.
right? And truth be told, once we know, then we're on an NDA, so we can't really tell. But as of now, I'm not in an NDA, and there's nothing yet on the anvil. So, I mean, I hope something comes around because it would be good to, cash in on the Marvels and things like that. But I think that everything has just started. The writing has probably just started again. Everything, the plans have just started. So I think there's a cycle to everything, right? So since everything has just begun a month or two ago, so it'll take its natural progression, I guess,
Because
organically.
because the interesting about the Marvels is that the way it ends, they hint very strongly in the post-credit scenes that Kamala Khan's not done in the universe. She's got something else going on. And I think as an audience member, you can't have Kamala Khan and not have Yusuf. I feel like your character must be in that world of Kamala Khan, wherever she shows up in.
I totally second that. And I not only second that, I wish that. I manifest that.
Well, I mean, I think so. No matter what movie, if Kamala Khan's ever in a movie, you need her father should be somewhere in there just because he's such a great character and is so good with Kamala. So I'm just saying that feels to me like Yusuf is not done in the Marvel universe.
I think the family is not done because I don't think Kamala is complete without the family. Because see, that's what makes Miss Marvel.
Mm,
Miss Marvel, you take out the family from Miss Marvel or the character Miss Marvel, then she's any other superhero.
right.
What are the tertiary emotions, storylines that feed what's her stuff, what keeps her going, what's her fuel,
Yep.
and which is probably why I feel that there was this pollination done of getting the Khans into the Marvels franchise of Captain Marvel 2, because, and it was a great device, because that, oh, your life in danger. It's as simple as that. Your lives are in danger. The Krees are after her, and by nature of that, they've already attacked you.
Yep.
You come with us. And that way you'll be closer to your daughter. So it worked out. The genius of the writers to do that. Now the genius of the writers is going to see that the arc from Jersey City, savior of Jersey City, to Galactic Warrior, fighting with, these other two. And now she's in that world and she's made a mark for herself and the name for herself. Where next? What next? And yes, I believe that the Khan family. Also, I mean, if you see it from a sheer audience feedback point of view, what I've been given to believe, I mean, I may be wrong, totally wrong. I hope I'm not, but this is what I've been given to believe, that the Khans are very endearing. They're a huge USP at some point to the story, at least as a link to Kamala Khan. So, yeah, I would think that it would be, at least for the near future, if there is anything coming in, inshallah, as Yusuf Khan would say, inshallah, if there is something coming up, I think the family would be there. Muniba, Amir, Yusuf, we would be there. We should be. I hope it.
I mean, I would think so. There's so much room to explore these dynamics because it's got to be weird for a parent to have a daughter that's a superhero. I mean, you gonna ground her? I mean, she got a mission to save people's lives. You're gonna have her like locked in a room for like a week. You're grounded for a week.
Yeah, I mean,
How do you do that?
it's like, what do the parents of a superhero girl do?
Right.
I mean, do they sit back and watch the news, or are they watching their favorite soap? Are they watching an Indian show that they used to watch on the weekend? What are they doing?
Right.
What happens with their life? I mean, okay, she's become this big thing, and she's flying through space. But what are they doing? Are they recognized? I mean, is their lives in danger? So it's very interesting to know. You can't just leave them in limbo. There has to be some sort of that they're part of the arc, right? Even if they're in the penumbra of the whole light. But,
right.
They have.
I mean, how do they even talk to her? Like, did you do your homework yesterday? It's like, well, I was saving the galaxy. Yeah, but you have math tests tomorrow. Did you study? I mean, what do you do as a parent?
Yeah. Then, okay, I mean, just because you've got this fancy suit that you wear to fight the bad guy, what about your laundry? Who's going to pick that up?
Exactly.
I can just see Muniba, giving all these day-to-day things, And what about the family functions?
Right.
You can't suddenly just say, oh, we showed you the Diwali, we showed you the South Asian, the marriage, the Muslim marriage thing, the whole song and dance, and now it's all gone.
Right.
Gone where? It'd be so interesting to see what happens next. I mean, even if it's a spoof, I mean, think about it as a spoof. What does Kamala Khan do now that the world knows she's Miss Marvel? Does she dance at her brother's first child? There's a child. I mean, what does she do? What does she do?
It'd be an interesting parent-teacher conference. I mean, like I said, there's so many interesting things with Kamala Khan at this point because, like I said, of her superhero life, and the fact that they wrote her character so well that even though she's a superhero, she's still the 14, 15-year-old kid still, and they wrote her just like that. She hasn't changed in that area. You guys have to come back and do something with her.
She didn't get a driving license, right?
Right.
Does she get a driving license or does she get a flying license? What does she get?
Driving her to her next criminal stop. Be like, oh, I gotta take her for a ride. We gotta stop the criminal at robbing the bank.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. And which is why, if you ask me what is the one thing about the Marvel Universe that you really, really boggles my mind are the writers. I mean, it's unbelievable that they have sustained over the years, cross-pollinating characters doing this. I mean, who thinks of these things?
Right.
And Kevin Feige and the top brass sitting over there who sit down and they can see, they've got the ball, the crystal ball, and they can see the vision of this writer, that character, that storyline, the past of that, the future of this, how it all meshes together to make this fantastic world. So the word is the universe, because that is the word to describe. How do they conjure up all this, man? I mean, I'd love to be a fly on the wall in all these brainstorm story sessions and all that. Because as a person who's been behind the camera, it's so fascinating to just sit there and listen to them talk. Say, oh, wow. So that's what I mean. So when you ask me what's the difference between, where I work and where they work, it's this planning, this way of thinking. I believe that Miss Marvel, of course, it was a comic and all that. But the writing of the script of the 6 episodes was done about probably a year prior to us going on shoot on floor to shoot. So I'm saying that kind of planning to keep it fresh. You've written it something 1 year ago. You're going to start shooting, and it's going to come out after another year, and you're keeping it fresh and relevant, and everything that goes with it to make it what it is, what it finally comes out. I think that's amazing.
So, what is next for you?
In your neck of the woods, nothing yet. Hopefully, there will be something. Now that the strikes are done, everyone's in a happy space. So hopefully things will, something should start over there. And what I'm planning to actually do in consultation with my manager, once planning to move bag and baggage, give myself a stipulated period of time stateside to try and make it work. And I'm not going to close any doors, burn any bridges back here, because look, people are confused in India. They're saying, oh, when did you come back? Now, because I'm not into networking, I'm not into partying or, announcing things and all that. Just very low key. I do my work, come back home, play with my cat, watch something, go to sleep, get up 5 a.m, work out. So I'm not into all that. So people don't know I'm back, So now that they do, they've said that, hey, listen, you should at least have some mechanism that tells us that you're back. So yes, I don't want to shut any doors over here. I don't want to burn any bridges. But I'm an actor, You put me, like I said again, water. Put me in something, I'm going to hopefully take the shape of that and do the best of my ability to that. So I'll come there. Hopefully, if I get to work, and if I find that there's a long stretch of no work, and if something comes from India, I'll quickly fly back, do something over here, then come back, Well, but what I love is the position that I'm in today, that I can flank 2 countries, 2 industries, languages, and that actually also has helped in my favor, that I'm conversant and fluent with English as well as my language of the Hindi and Urdu, and I can improvise them. So which that really helps as an actor. You can that you're fluent. Not only are you fluent in the spoken and written and read, write, and speak it, but you can improvise it. So there is an ability. There's a different mechanism that's at play over there. So hopefully that's an added advantage, and hopefully, given the age group that I am in, that I can get to play more roles, characters, diverse characters. Given the fact that Hollywood's been so benevolent and so visionary to the whole concept of representation and telling these stories, because these stories are so important at some level. Some stories are important, some are colorful, some are fun, some are poignant, but they're all stories, and who doesn't like a good story?
Right. Well, since we already put it in the world, when you're ready, because obviously Ms. Marvel season 2 is going to have to happen because we brought it into the world. We mentioned it, we discussed it, so now it's happening. Whatever you're doing next, please come back on the show. You're absolutely entertaining and fascinating. And like you said, your character, Yusuf, you did such a wonderful job. And I'm not just saying that because you're in the show. I really thought you were one of those characters that just like captured in the series and in the movie. We're just like, this is wonderful.
Thank you so much. Thank you. That's so kind of you. I mean, after such a huge lull and, the whole strike and all that, you saying this to me is just such a lovely affirmation of the work that one does. And, you just feel that, okay, so what I did after the lights went out, I cleaned the makeup off my face, slept, moved on, came back home. And then when you get to hear that, you say, oh man, it was worth it. It was worth it. I did it. It's not just being an also ran. You were remembered for the run you did. And that's really nice.
Well,
Thank you.
Like I said, I think you will. Like I said, your character was one of those characters that just made it all just work. Because like I said, you could feel the family in that, between the father and the daughter, you and your wife. I mean, you guys all did such a great job. And there's going to be a season 2 because I'm saying there is. So I look forward to come back on.
Really, in fact, I was asking Sana also, when, and she's saying, yeah, when, we're all kind of asking the question, when, but hopefully soon. I hope. Yeah.
Well, like I said, come back anytime, sir.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, and you be well and have a great weekend.